Hello, and welcome to today's program, Making Your Paperless Workflow Work. I'm Dan Sigel, and I will be taking you on an overview and a tour of paperless offices, or as I like to call them, less paper offices. A little bit of background about me, and then we'll dive right into the materials. I'm a practicing attorney outside of Philadelphia who operates a law firm and a consulting firm in which I advise clients about workflow. Our office is completely paperless and has been since I opened on my own in 2005. We use paper, but we don't rely on paper. And as a result, we're more efficient, we provide better service to our clients, and are able to find information literally at the drop of a hat. And with a quick question and answer, we can find almost anything. And I'm proud to say that typically it takes me 30 seconds or less to find any document on any topic in our system. So what I'd like to do now is take you on a tour of a paperless office, from the basics of what you need to know and why you need to be thinking about a paperless office, to all of the issues that confront any business, including law firms, that go paperless. I'm going to start with the pandemic, because when the pandemic began and we all were suddenly quarantined, I heard from lots of my colleagues. They were upset, they were concerned, they had no idea how they were going to practice. And it brought to mind the old cartoon, Henny Penny and the Sky is Falling. Well, to them, the sky was falling. They either were not able to go to their offices or were limited in how they were going to go to their offices. And these are people who loved paper. They said, having all of that paper around them on their desks and everywhere else. Well, suddenly, the doors to their offices weren't open, and they couldn't drive into the city to get their information, and they had to work remotely. Well, how do you work remotely if you don't have any of the materials? And if you have not digitized your office, then you can't see anything with a remote connection. And that's what happened. And as a result, they discovered that they needed to be able to access information quickly. And to do that, the information had to be digitized. And a paperless office is really a digital office. It is an office where all of the materials in the office, whether it's your emails, whether it's your faxes, whether it's documents, whether it's electronic filings, whether it's your financial records, are all scanned or saved electronically and then accessible to users. So you might not allow everyone to see financial records, but if you need them, they're there, and you don't have to go into a drawer and try to find the bank statements. And while the pandemic is the largest example, and probably will never see a greater one than the pandemic, the reality is that lots of events cause people to stay away from their offices. Right now, in my office, lots of people in my area are recovering from Hurricane Ida, which has closed offices, roads, etc. But weather disasters happen all the time. In 2008, there were numerous examples of weather disasters that caused billions of dollars in damage. And not only did they cause the dollars in damage, but they also caused an enormous loss of productivity that impacts any business that has to close because of a weather disaster, because of some other event that occurs, and these events do occur. So think about it. If you had to close your office, you'd had to pay your staff. You would have paid them all for one day's work, and when you add that up, that's not an insignificant amount of money. And even if you didn't pay them, you still lost the productivity that they would have produced had you in fact been open. And obviously these types of situations are the extreme, and none of us, is responsible for COVID-19 or the weather or anything else. And we need to be aware of and prepared for them. And a paperless office or a digitized office is really the first step to getting yourselves there. According to different studies, 3/4 of all small businesses, including law firms, don't have a disaster contingency plan in place in the event of an emergency or natural disaster. Yet they should. And the first step in this, and where we're going today, is to talk about, are you prepared and how are you dealing with digitizing your office? Because none of us was really ready for COVID-19. No one expected that when we were sent home, we would be home for a year. For some of us, it could be 2 years or more. And working remotely, you're not bringing home file cabinets. And if you did, and you have a support person or an associate or someone else who's working with you, you can't duplicate all of those file cabinets. So you can't just keep your eyes closed and bury your head in the sand.